It's time once again to get on the hot seat with Wally George. This is it, the most talked about talk show on television and the most imitated. Join Wally as he grills those liberal loonies and tells you the way it really is. And now, here he is, that hard-hitting award-winning voice of conservatism, patriotism, and controversy. The one and only Wally George.
USA! 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 USA!
Now that was a good lead-in for this guy, who I'm really going to take over the coals. David, will you introduce him, please?
First up tonight, we have a respectable-looking gentleman, at least, Scott Lockwood, who is going to speak up for the Libertarian Party.
To see that I'm already so popular here.
Well, Scott, I think there are very few libertarians in the, and I say praise the good Lord for that, right? Now let me start right off the bat, Scott, by telling you that I think the libertarians are a disgrace to the United States of America, right? So is your tie. And so is your tie, right? Thank you very much. Yeah, okay.
Well, Wally,
hold on.
You know, Wally,
Hold on. We'll discuss the Libertarian Party first, and then we'll discuss his tie. All right.
Thank heavens we chose the right order.
No, seriously now. You can't possibly believe all this nonsense that the Libertarian Party believes, do you, Scott?
Oh, of course I do.
Oh, boy.
Of course I
do. Scott, first, let's go one by one, right down to some of the ludicrous things that you libertarians are trying to push here in America.
All right, Wally.
First of all, you guys, listen to this. He wants to cut back on our military defense program.
Absolutely, absolutely. And put that money back into the pockets of you, me, and all Americans, where it belongs.
Wait a minute, Scott.
Where it belongs.
Wait a minute, Scott. If we take money away from our defense, we will not be able to properly defend ourselves, and you won't be putting any money in anybody's pockets because we won't have any country left, right? Scott, our number one priority must be to defend this great country, the United States of America. USA! 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 And I say, Scott, when you libertarians are calling for a cutback in our military defense, I say it's downright subversive. What do you think?
I think that it's downright sensible. We spend far too much money on defense, absolutely too much. $4,000 coffee pots are bought and purchased by our nation every day, and there's absolutely no sense, no reason to do it.
We're not talking about coffee pots. We're talking about hardcore defense spending.
What, to blow up the world? To blow up the world, Wally?
Not to blow up the world. We want to defend ourselves. I mean, you may...
All we're doing is playing a game with the Russians. We build bombs, they build bombs, we build more, they build more, and it's time that the whole thing just stops, just ceases, because it's a dangerous and foul game that we play with the Russians.
Don't you know that hold on. Don't you know that the Soviet Union, their goal is to take over the entire free world?
And you know what I say to that? Let them have the world, but don't take...
I think they're coming to get you, Scott.
I thought I had heard everything. He says, let the Soviets take the world.
Let them... You let them.
How can you possibly say that?
You let them have the rest of the world. The only thing that we care about is what's happening inside of our borders, and it is high time that we take care of the United States and the United States only. We ought to get out of the businesses world. We ought to stop being the policemen of the world and take care of the people that live inside this country and forget the rest.
Hold on a minute. Let me answer you. I mean, I'm almost becoming ill from hearing this ludicrous thing. You say,
look, hey, we got along fine for almost 200 years without
Scott,
meddling in other people's affairs.
Let me answer you on. Hold on. Let me answer you on your first diatribe there. Now, this is the whole thing. You say we should just stay home. Let Russia take over the whole world as long as
they can. If they can.
All right. As long as we protect ourselves. Now, what kind of logic is that? Hold on.
It's the logic of neutrality. The logic of neutrality.
What I'm saying is, Scott, wait a minute. Let me finish my answer to your stupidity, all right? Now, listen. Once the Russians take over all the rest of the world, Scott, we're going to be the only ones left. Don't you think they're going to come after us, too?
That's ludicrousy. That is not going to happen at all. It won't happen.
Oh, it won't happen.
Listen.
Famous last words. I remember when they said that about Adolf Hitler. Hey, hold on, Scott. Neville Chamberlain came back to London right before World War II, and he said, hey, we can trust Adolf Hitler. He's not going to want to take over the world. He's not going to bomb us. It'll never happen. There's another Neville Chamberlain right here, right?
If we start taking care, when we start taking care of this country and this country only and make our country strong defensively, because contrary to popular belief, I'm not against a strong defense, but strong defensively and economically, we will be setting a good example for the rest of the world. An example that the world will want to follow naturally.
Sure we will,
without
Scott.
us meddling in people's business.
Sure we will, Scott. We'll be setting a wonderful example. We'll be a bunch of wimps, won't we? For you to say...
We will not be wimps. We will just simply be peace-loving people, Wally.
Yeah, sure. We'll be peace-loving people waiting for the bomb to come over from the Soviet Union, right?
The only chance of them bombing us, Wally, is simply because we antagonize them constantly. If we got out of their affairs, there'd be no need to bomb us. Because we antagonize the Russians all the time, every day.
Oh, we shouldn't antagonize the Russians. Oh.
Listen.
Hey, wait a minute. I know what we should do. Let's throw a party for Gorbachev, huh? I'll be right back. Wally George here with the Hot Seat Show, and my guest is Libertarian Scott Lockwood. I really can't believe some of the things I'm hearing, David. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, Scott, whose affairs are we unnecessarily meddling in right now, for instance? South Africa?
Of course. South Africa, the Middle East.
We should stay out of South Africa.
The Eastern Bloc, everywhere. We meddle all over the world.
Hey, you would like us to
and have been doing so for over 50 years.
You would like us to be completely...
And I want to make this point. For 150 years, we were a neutral country, and we got along just fine.
Wait a minute. Oh, we cannot be neutral. We must stand by our allies who are fighting a communist takeover of the world. Obviously.
But, Wally, our allies have the bombs, and they have the military, and they have the resources to defend themselves against an attack.
They do not. We are a beacon of strength. We are the only hope for the free world. You want us to stick our heads in the sand and become isolationists. I say...
Oh, no. We shouldn't be an isolated country. We should be a neutral country, and there's a big difference between the two.
You can't be a neutral country. How can you be neutral against those vile animals in the Soviet Union, right? You can't be neutral.
It takes two to play the game with the Soviet Union, and if we drop out of the game, the game's over for them. There's nobody else for them to play with.
If we drop out of the game, the game is over for us because they'll take us over. Isn't that right?
But if we truly... Now, wait a minute.
No, wait a minute. You neglect to realize, I can't believe that you can be so naive and so dense not to realize...
Wait, naive, dense? You're the one that doesn't like my tie.
Because it's red. Yeah, it's a red tie. Red. Hey, notice he chose a red tie, right? Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me answer.
It isn't my fault you have bad taste.
You are so naive and dense that you don't realize that the main goal of the Soviet Union is to take over the United States of America. And if we become a neutral country like you want us to, and take all of our troops home from all over the world and let them gobble up country after country after country, we'll be the only ones left. And are you so naive to think that they will not try to take us too?
I don't think they're going to take us. Of course not. Of course not. And
why would they leave us alone?
Because our country will be strong on its own. And furthermore, listen, if we really believe in freedom and liberty and justice for all, I think that we ought to let other countries have the same freedom, the same liberty, and the same justice to be able to determine for themselves what type of system and country that they'd like to live in. Why should we tell a country in Eastern Europe that they should be capitalistic?
Hey, Scott,
it's their own business. It's not ours.
Why aren't you addressing these complaints to the Soviet Union? What have they done in Afghanistan and Poland and Czechoslovakia and Hungary? Don't talk to us. Talk to the Soviet Union.
And it's none of our business. It's none of our business.
Wait a minute. Did you hear what he said? I'm talking about the atrocities that are going on.
It's none of our business.
None of our business.
Business is what happens inside the borders of the United States of America.
Our business is to protect the entire free world, is it not?
And one of the reasons why so many countries do turn to communism is simply because we have gotten into their affairs and they don't like it.
Oh, come on. I'll tell you what. If we were not in Nicaragua right now, Nicaragua would be under the Soviet Union, am I right? We cannot, I don't know how you can say that we can sit idly by as the Soviet Union gobbles up, and he says, let them have the whole world. I say no way, because what we're asking for is for us to go with it. As long as I have a television camera in front of me, I'm going to protect this country from lunatics like him.
The Soviet Union will never have the entire world so long as America sets a good example for the rest of the world.
You're so naive. I can't believe how they, as long as we said, hey, the best example we can give to them is to have Ronald Reagan look at Gorbachev in his beady little eyes and say, listen, you punk, you try one thing, you try moving in on one more country, and we're coming after you. Isn't that right?
Scott, however wrong we may be doing things, it seems like millions of immigrants from all over the world are frantically trying to pour into our country.
Fine, so be it. Anybody that wants to come into our country should be allowed to come into this country. And if that's what America is all about.
Hey, wait a minute.
And bring whatever disease and drugs they want to bring in, huh?
Wait a minute.
That's what America is all about.
Disease and drugs?
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, certainly not. But
hey, wait a minute.
I don't think we're ever going to be able to get rid of that.
Are you also talking about illegal aliens? Should we let them come in?
Of course. Of course. What happened to give us your tired, give us your poor?
So hold on.
This is what America is all about.
Wait a minute. You say that we should let the... Hold it, everybody. You're saying to me that we should let the illegal aliens flow across our borders?
Of course. If they're repressed in their country, and if they want freedom and can't get it in their own homeland, they should be allowed to come to our country and have freedom and liberty.
Illegally.
No, completely legally. We should allow anybody that wants to come here.
Anybody should come across.
Mr. George, if not for that policy, you wouldn't be sitting in that chair right now,
oh,
and
hey,
I
listen,
wouldn't be sitting in mine.
If we don't stop the flow of illegal aliens flowing across our borders, you won't even have a job, and neither will I. They're taking over job after job. Hey.
Well, listen, Wally, should they stay in Nicaragua and let the communists take them?
The illegal aliens are coming across this border, and what Commissioner Harold Liesel of the Immigration Service said to me on this program is, what we are facing is an invasion of the United States of America, and unless we stop it, they're going to take over our industry. They're moving into our schools, into our public housing. They're moving into welfare, and I say we must stop it right now.
Then should we become a closed society, such as the Soviet Union, and not let people out and not let people in?
If anybody wants to come into this country, they come here legally. Isn't that right? You don't... Hey, this is a country of laws. And when you come into this country illegally, you are committing a felony. You go out of this country, you're disobeying the law.
Well,
now, you also speak...
A lot of those laws should be changed, Wally.
For example, you would like to legalize all drugs.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
Hey, Wally, what do you care? If I want to shoot up all day long, what do you care? It's my body, it's not yours.
Hey, I'm saying
if somebody is stupid enough to sit and take drugs and abuse them, that's their own problem.
Let me answer that. With the drug problem, hey, don't laugh, idiot. How can he laugh about a drug problem here?